Órale, Cholo Trucker, Más Movies and Shows, and here we got the Idaho student murders. Okay, this one is on Peacock, right? There's a documentary. Now, I understand that there are other documentaries. I believe there's one on HBO Max. I think Prime Video has one. So I know there's a few of them, but I'm going to be talking about the one on Peacock because that's the one that I watched, and it came out this year, 2025, and um, I believe I'm not sure, but I believe it's the most updated um, documentary when it comes to this case. So I never heard of these murders. I haven't. I'm from California, man. I'm from Southern Cali. So, why would I hear about the murders unless it was going to make, national news? And if it did, I don't know. Maybe it did for a quick second or what, but it never caught my eye. I never heard of these murders. So, um, basically, you got it's a college town, Moscow, Idaho. When I think Moscow, I mean I think Russia, but nonetheless, I guess it's a college town. I'm watching it just because I saw the trailer to it, and I'm like, all right, let me check it out. Looks interesting. I like some documentaries, and let's see what's up, right? And in the trailer, they had shown that they got the guy that did it, but at the same time, that there were kind of speculating like, oh, well, we don't know if that's really the guy. I mean, he is incarcerated. He's going to go to trial for it, but we don't know if he's really the guy who did it or not. Like a lot of this stuff is, kind of up in the air, right? So I'm like, oh, all right, that's interesting. I'd like to see the defense on why they don't think this guy is the guy, right? But as I'm watching the documentary, first things first, it gets to the friends. It's got four girls. They're sitting around table and they're just kind of telling their story and about everybody that it's four people that died, right? Three girls and one guy. And they're just kind of telling their story, what it was like hanging out with them and how they all met up and they're all going to college there and whatever it may be, right? I guess it's a pretty big house. And one night, um, someone goes in there and brutally murders four of them. The interesting part to me in all of this is that there was more people in that house at that time that were able to hear certain things that were, they were kind of texting back and forth. Hey, I think somebody's in the house. Hey, I'm scared, hey, I'm not, this isn't verbatim, but that's what it was showing. It's like, hey, oh yeah, I heard somebody, in her room saying like, don't worry, I'm here to help you. And it's like, okay, I don't know. I don't recall that there was a head count of them actually giving a head count of how many people were in the house, but only four were stabbed to death. Now I understand in a big house, with multiple floors, I get how somebody may not know what's going on around the entire house. I get that part. But when you start hearing things and then some of the text messages that are going back and forth, like, hey, I'm scared. There's somebody here. And it's like, is there nobody really gonna, hey, everybody, come out of your room? I mean, if there is somebody in the house, everybody come out of your room. And, if there's one person, if there's somebody here to harm us, we'll all, it's go time, we'll all attack them at the same time, right? But that always, that always, felt a little strange to me. I'm like, huh, okay. I thought it was just the four of them there alone at the house when they got killed, but no, it wasn't. There was quite a few more people, and because they were getting ready for the trial, some of the people that were in that home. had a gag order on them, so they couldn't even, say what was happening or give their side of the story because they're getting ready for trial, and that's I was just a little perplexed about that. Like, wow, man, it always kind of made me wonder a little bit. Like, was there something here? I don't think there was, but I mean, it just kind of seemed a little odd to me. So anyway, that's about like the first 25 minutes of this documentary. And then the rest of the documentary, for the most part, is zoned in on the one suspect that they had, based simply on the car, right? The guy's name is Brian Kohlberger, I believe it was. And they saw his vehicle, or a vehicle with the description of his vehicle, um, leaving that area. So with that, they kind of zoned in on this guy a little bit. He actually is in Washington State, so not even Idaho, because Moscow is right around the state line between Idaho and Washington State. So they start zoning in on this guy. They start looking at him. Who is this guy? And that's pretty much what the rest of the documentary is really about. Hey, who is this dude? Let's go back into his history. Where does he come from? What's he like? He has Pennsylvania plates. Most of this documentary is about Brian Kohlberger. And I thought that was really interesting because this at leading up to all of it, it's letting you know that they're getting ready for trial. So they still don't know if this guy is going down for the murders or not. And I'm kind of thinking to myself, like, okay, at the end of this documentary, does it show the verdict? Because I'm not up to game on this, right? I don't know what's going on. That's why I'm here watching this documentary, because I don't really know what's going on. And I think she's a TikToker or a YouTuber. I'm not really sure. She's heavily involved in this case. Uh, she covers cases of murders and stuff of that sort. I've heard her name before. I don't really follow her that much, but she's in this documentary. And look, overall, I found it pretty damn interesting. Now, the very, very, very end of this documentary. First, well, actually, let me go ahead and give you guys a gripe of mine about this. There was this retired FBI female who was saying like this without a shadow of a doubt, this was a crime against women. And I'm just like, okay, all right. I mean, nobody really cared about the young gentleman that was stabbed to death in this. Honestly, I'll be real with you guys. I really didn't see many tears for him. They really focused and honed in on the girls, but little to nothing when it comes to him. It was kind of like the whole OJ Simpson thing. Everybody's like, oh man, he stabbed, Nicole and everything. Like, yeah, nobody ever mentions, Ron Goldman in this, right? I was like, yeah, he was stabbed to death too, but nobody ever mentions him. So that kind of, I don't know, man. That kind of rubbed me the wrong way. That this woman will come out and say that, like, there's a crime against women, and it's like, all right, you don't know that, okay? He did end up killing a man, a young man as well, but it just seems like nobody really cares about him. Let's just focus on the young ladies, which again, I have no problem with focusing on the young ladies. Of course, it's tragic, but I just at least acknowledge the fact for, I don't know, 5 minutes out of this that, hey, a young man was stabbed to death in this too, you know? But, the way this ended, telling you what happened, that this sucker is not even going to trial. Like, wow, right? Because as much as this documentary, as much as it focuses on this Brian Kohlberger guy, you're kind of just like, okay, did he do it? Did he not do it? Did he do it? Did he not do it? And you're just kind of like, I was just engaged, man, into this documentary just for the very end to let me know what happened, to be like, wow, like, I don't know, man. I felt a few things. It was kind of a weird roller coaster of emotions finding out. Like, okay, I felt a little relieved. I also felt a little let down. I also felt a little bit like, man, okay, well, a little closure. A few things I was feeling all at the same time, which was kind of odd. I wasn't sure if it made the documentary better or worse. I still don't know if it does or doesn't, right? But nonetheless, it kind of puts it to bed to a certain degree, and I'm just kind of like, oh, okay, wow, all right. I didn't know we were gonna go there, but apparently we went there. So look, out of documentaries, is this a good one? I don't know the other documentaries that I mentioned in the beginning of this. I'd never seen them. Like I said, I've never heard of this, but I think there's looking into it. Like I said, I think HBO Max has one. I think Hulu has one. I think Amazon Prime Video has a documentary. So this is the only one I've ever seen. So I don't know any of the other documentaries, but this documentary is about 85, 80 to 85% just about this guy, Brian Kohlberger. The rest is about the victims. And, unfortunately, the young man that got stabbed to death, he really doesn't get a lot of love. That's the only thing unfortunate, for me at least. And I wouldn't have even cared, honestly. I wouldn't even have cared. But the fact that that woman had to come out and say something like that, make no doubt about it. She didn't even know who it was at the time. And she was just like, make no doubt about it. This was a crime against women. That's what made me focus more like, yeah, a young man died. How much time are they spending on his death? Oh, not much at all. Wow, kind of forgotten about. But that was the only gripe I would have. But other than that, like it was a good documentary, and there is an ending. There is an ending. There is a final chapter that ends this book and closes the book. And at that time, I was kind of like, wow, I wasn't really sure how to feel about it. Still not sure, but I'm like, okay, well, there you guys go. So, do I recommend it? Yeah, sure. If you got some time, handle it. It's not a bad documentary. It's not a great documentary either, but it was just interesting because I had never heard of these murders. But that is the Idaho student murders. Total Trucker, M.A.S. movies and shows. Catch you guys on next one.